Tim in Lee's Summit, Missouri. Hey, Tim, what's up?
Hey, not much. Good afternoon, Tom. I am a survivor Marine of the contamination at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Give us a little backstory on that. What was the contamination?
The contamination was benzene through fuel in the water and also trichloroethylene TCE, which is a degreaser. It's a volatile organic compound. Mm-hmm. Both of those were found in very high quantities in the drinking water that was supplied to folks. Up to approximately 1 million people between 1953 and 1987 were exposed.
Didn't this cause a variety of things from birth defects to kidney disease to cancers?
Does. As a matter of fact, there have been recent studies just within the last year from CDC, from ATSDR, that are mortality studies that found across-the-board elevated risk for all types of cancers, but specifically kidney cancers, esophageal cancers, liver cancers, prostate cancers, lung cancer. There's about 15 conditions that were contained in a law that was passed in 2012.
Wow. So Tim, your story.
Yes. My story is that I was stationed there from 84 to 86. I worked at the calibrations lab, which happened to be a building that was sitting atop of the aquifer that was contaminated with the fuel slick and so forth, the contamination. So it looks like I potentially got a double dose. 20 years later, 15 years later, I started feeling some effects, went to doctors. Everyone said tests were coming back just fine, and I was okay, but I knew that something was wrong. And then 3 years ago, get informed of the chemicals that I was exposed to. Mind you, this was over 25 years since I had been there and since I had been exposed. So then, to my doctors, things started making sense as far as my immune system issues. The law that was passed in 2012, you would think that would prompt the VA to start providing care for folks within this community. But here's the problem, is that the way that VA is approaching it is, in effect, denying claims for a very high number of the folks that are applying for the claims. And, of course, they have to go through VA if you were stationed there, if you were a service member. So what I would like to ask you and your listeners to support is to contact your senators or reps and ask them for presumptive benefits for the Camp Lejeune survivors.
Have you contacted Senator Sanders' office?
Actually, I have. I've contacted him via Twitter and email, and I haven't received any response. I live in Missouri, so I'm not actually one of his constituents. But I know that
you are in that he's the chairman of the Senate Veterans Committee.
Yes.
And
so that's why
he takes that really, really seriously. I would strongly encourage you to just call his office. The number for Congress's switchboard, which will get you to any member of Congress, is 202-225-3121. And when they say U.S. Capitol, you just say, please transfer me to Senator Sanders' office, and boom, off you go.
I will.
Ask.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, they're just very responsive, and they will connect you. I would guess they will connect with you with a human being who can respond.
I think Senator Sanders would be very responsive. I really like the things that he says, and I'm a big fan of his, and so I'm really kind of looking forward to possibly contacting him. I've reached out some other ways, but that would be the one thing that right now would help that community the most.
Right.
And it's a community that has just been delayed action. You and I both know what's going on at the VA right now as far as delays and so forth, and that doesn't appear that it's really going to get straightened out in the near term, and these people need help now.
Well, and if you want to lobby him more directly, you could even call this show. Next Friday, I will be in Seattle, so we won't be doing Brunch with Bernie next Friday. But the week after, he may be on next Thursday. I'm not sure what Sean and Louise and Senator Sanders' offices have worked out.
Right, I planned to catch him this morning, and unfortunately, I got in just a little bit too late. But I thought I still would like to talk to you about the issue. And
you should really drop that in his lap. And of course, I'm assuming you've contacted Claire McCaskill. She's your senator.
Yes. Yes, I have now. They just boilerplate responses back on the issue from her office, unfortunately. Yeah. Senator Blunt actually did respond and assisted me with a FOIA request, but
Good.
And the one who's been most responsive is my U.S. rep. But I think that if other listeners were to contact them and start putting some pressure on them to do it, that they would go ahead and at least maybe take a look at the 2012 law and modify it to add presumptive benefit.
Okay. We need presumptive benefits for the Camp Lejeune vets. Got it.
That's correct.
Tim, thank you very much for the call, and I wish you the very best. I'm sorry to hear your situation.